Hi, everybody. It's Michelle. Welcome to the live stream. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Yay. Hey, Lizzie. How are you? I'm just still trying to get myself set up here. So I apologize for being a little bit late to my own live. We're going to see if we can get myself set up here. Okay, so I can see myself on the TV. How is everyone doing? Happy Sunday. Glad you guys can join me. We have a lot of really interesting things to talk about today, so we'll wait a couple minutes for people to appear. We're probably not going to have a super large audience, but I do appreciate everyone who stops by the live. Let's see, we have Carol, we have Lizzie. Who else do we have here? I saw somebody. You moderators are on point. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. Hi, Ivy, House of Bark, Flower Garden. Effie, welcome to Royal Daily Tea. So while we're here, I'm going to continue to try to set up my backstage here. Hi, Tune the Noons. Hi, Mickey's Girl. Hey, Tanya. Welcome. Hi, Sheila. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Hi, Miss Terry. How are you? Hi, Disfan. I get a little nervous doing lives, y'all. But we have so many interesting things that I thought that we could talk about here. Hi, Disfan. How are you? Let's see here. I'm going to try to upload some stuff while we talk. Has anyone had any interesting plans that they've done this weekend? Lizzie and Carol, you guys are rock stars. Thank you. Hi, Carol. Thanks for joining. Hi, Laura. Nice to see you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this really quickly. I should have done this ahead of time. Just getting some photos for y'all, getting ready. How is everyone doing this Sunday? I'm off on Sundays now, but it feels weird. It always feels kind of weird to be off on Sundays. I'm not used to being off on Sundays. Has anyone watched any good movies lately? I'm going to see if I can get one more picture here, and then we're going to get started. Oh, Mission Impossible. Yes, Lizzie. One of my friends saw that, and she said it was absolutely amazing. Yes. Hi, Andrea. I have to say this. Tom Cruise, in my opinion, is one of those old school movie stars. We don't have a lot of these newer people. I just don't think they have the same clout as we did from like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And Tom Cruise is what you would call a quintessential Hollywood star, right? He's up there with Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, just the movie stars of the past. John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, those are movie stars to me. Half these new people that they have out, I don't even know who they are. And Michael Douglas. Do y'all know Michael Douglas? Oh my gosh, my sister was here over the weekend, for my dad's funeral last week. And we spent one day where we sat in our pajamas and we ate junk food. Yes, we did. And we watched movies, like several movies. And one of the movies that we watched was with Michael Douglas and Brittany Murphy. It was Don't Say a Word. Have y'all seen that? That is such a good movie. And I miss Brittany Murphy. She was such a good actress. But Michael Douglas, I would say in almost everything he stars in, he is such a phenomenal actor. One of my favorite movies was A Perfect Murder with Gwyneth Paltrow. Love that movie. But yes, I think Tom Cruise, I would almost go to the movies to see the Mission Impossible. I heard that it's just phenomenal. Absolutely. Okay. I'm just going to grab a couple more little things here for the background and see if I could. So I want to have a little chat with y'all. Okay. So, first things first. Oh, yes, Kathleen Turner, Romancing the Stone. Do y'all remember Romancing the Stone? I think there was 2 or 3 of them. That was such a great movie. I love those old movie series, like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, but Romancing the Stone with Catherine, yes, that was such Kathleen, that was such a great, series. Oh, okay, so it says, I enjoyed Michael on Streets of San Francisco. I don't think I've seen that. I'll have to definitely look into that for sure. Flower Garden says, watch Top Gun at a drive in movie theater. Toronto, I was visiting cousins. What an experience for a wee Scottish girl. You know, when I remember when Top Gun came out, the first one in the movie theaters, that soundtrack, y'all, was amazing. You know a movie is going to be a hit when the soundtrack is amazing. And I remember I was probably in my like middle school, and I used to be a dancer. I was on the dance team, a cheerleader, that type of thing. And I was obsessed with flash dance. Oh, what a feeling. I used to pretend I was, the girl from Flash Dance, and I'd be dancing in my garage. And I remember I had the soundtrack to Top Gun. It is such a good soundtrack, and we used to choreograph dance numbers to Top Gun. I used to love that. Yes, I have to say. Lizzie B says, I miss the movies from the 90s. They don't make them like they did. They don't. I really do enjoy, y'all know I watch a lot of old movies, and that's the reason. I like to watch movies from like the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I like the nostalgia. I like the fashion. I like the way people used to actually dress. I like the fact that not everyone had a cell phone. I think we've missed a lot of society, polite manners, of just communicating, looking up, saying hello to someone in the store. You go to a store nowadays and you go to a waiting room, like to get your oil changed, everyone has their head in their phone. People don't look up, they don't make conversation. So for me, I miss the olden days where people were a little bit more formal, they dressed nice, they had manners. And I like to get back into nostalgia. So I too agree with you about the movies. Absolutely. Lizzie B says, oh my God, yes, every time you hear that song, you want to dance. Absolutely. It is a really great song. Love the Beauty and the Beast from France after World War II. Beautiful film. Oh, okay. Is that a old Beauty and the Beast film? I'll have to look into that. Through the Looking Glass says, we will never see the class and grace of the classic actors um, and addresses 1930 to 1960s, but it seems the class of actor in Tom Cruise generation will be the last of the greats. Absolutely. And I kind of feel the same way about the music industry. I don't even watch the award shows anymore. It's so vulgar. And a lot of the songs, they're not good. Like I grew up with Michael Jackson, who used to put on phenomenal music videos. They were like movies. Do y'all remember Thriller? When that came out. I remember I was at the skating ring, probably the 4th or 5th grade, and it was a midnight showing of Thriller. That was a big deal. MTV was a big deal back then with the movies. And I remember we all sat around, we had this huge, like, teleprompter screen on the wall at the skating ring. It was like a sleepover type of thing. And they premiered Thriller, and we were blown away. We literally were blown away. You just don't see that kind of creativity anymore. Like Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, they used to really, really put on some major performances for music. And so nowadays, I don't even know half of these people who show up for the music artist. Again, I maybe I'm just getting old, but I don't resonate with a lot of the new stuff that has come out. Love Thin Man. Is that what movie was that? That was a scary movie. I think they might have had a remake that I saw. Can you tell me who the actors were in that movie? Oh, Black and White and French. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to take that. Yeah, Mickey's Girl says, I've never heard of that Beauty and the Beast. I will definitely look into that. That does sound interesting for sure. Yes, Jackie says, I remember Thriller on MTV. It was a big deal. And you used to have to pay for MTV. Remember, you have to say, I want my MTV, and you had to ask for it. Yeah, that was a very big deal back then. Carol says, my dad introduced me to it. I have enjoyed it. Try X Mrs. Bradford. Okay, interesting. Okay, so basically, we're going to talk about a couple of things. So, the first thing is we did a poll the other day. Now, I haven't had a lot of people complain about it. It was only one person who actually told me that I needed to evolve. That they said they know I have a slogan and a tagline, but perhaps I needed to evolve. And I'm like, okay, maybe I do. So I put up a poll because I want to make sure that I'm putting out quality videos that you guys enjoy. And y'all have to remember, I make videos in my house by myself. And so I always look for your comments to see your reactions, and I always have really good feedback. And there's going to be the occasional person who doesn't like something. You're gonna get a kick out of some of these comments. But I thought I'd put a poll up there, but it looks like 90% of y'all agree that you like it and you want me to keep it. We did have over, I think, 900 votes. So we're going to go ahead and keep the slogan, y'all. So if you voted, thank you for taking the time. But it was nice for me to get the feedback because honestly, I didn't know if you guys like it or not. You just never really know. If people skip over it, if they like it, they're annoyed by it. So it was nice to get a little bit of feedback. Lizzie says, please don't change it, Michelle. That's your signature slogan. I love it. Thank you. Now, someone did point out that I say it a little bit backwards. How do I say it? I think I say, well, guys, you know what to do. I don't even know what my tagline is. I think I tell people to sit down and then to grab a beverage. So maybe that's backwards. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we'll eventually maybe get a mug. Some people have requested merch with that. Yes, Jackie says, I love your entrance music and tagline. Thank you. It's good to know. Like some people, when they write me cards, they'll literally write out, grab yourself a beverage in the card. And I think that's so cute. And I've gotten some really good feedback from y'all telling me that you're just so used to me saying it. You get your tea ready or you say it with me. Or people say they say it with their daughters. So I like the feedback because, again, I don't know what your experience is when you're watching my video. So it was nice to hear that positive feedback. So I do appreciate y'all letting me know. Keep it. Okay. Yes. Oh, Lily says you have a great way of explaining M&H propaganda. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I'm a mom. So here's a funny thing I got to share with y'all. Now, I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I get that, and sometimes we try things on the channel. It's a learning curve. And sometimes we try things and sometimes it's a hit and sometimes it's not, and that's just how it goes. So the funny thing is, I know a lot of y'all have been with me for 4 years, some of y'all haven't, but a lot of you know that one of my catchphrases is daddy. When I say daddy, and I kind of overdid it in the beginning, so I try not to be annoying. I really try not to be annoying, but sometimes you just got to be funny. So I came up with daddy, and it actually has a backstory because someone had left me a comment a couple of days ago. She's like, I really like you, but I just cannot stand when you say daddy. You just don't need to say it. And I'm like, actually, I do. and here's why. So that's actually a shout out for my mom. It's a private joke with my mom, and it was an accident. So about a couple of years ago, I actually put it in my video and I thought, oh my God, I sound so stupid. I should probably delete that. I'm trying to be a serious journalist here and I'm not, but I was trying to be very serious. And I'm like, I said daddy and maybe I shouldn't put it in there, but I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm just going to put it in there. And that took off like gangbusters. Never thought people would actually pay attention, first of all, to anything I have to say. But then when they heard the word, people loved it and people started laughing and saying it back to me. So it kind of became a catchphrase by accident. But it is a private joke with my mom. So when you hear me say it, just know it's just kind of a private shout out to my mom. And it's funny. It's fun to say daddy. So that's kind of how that came out. Now, the other comment that I got the other day, which I thought was hilarious, was that this guy told me I need to quit trying to be a comedian. You're not funny. You just need to read the news. And he really hated my hairy voice. And I'm like, oh, you must be new here, sir. You're not going to like me or my Barbies at this point because the hairy voice is here to stay. I know people like when I say the British media. So some people like it. Some people told me I scare them, and other people tell me they enjoy it. So again, I do appreciate your feedback, and I know a lot of you do like it. And you're right, I have to be me. But I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I thought that was funny when people were told me to stop trying to be a comedian. I'm like, oh, sir, you're new here. So that's why I got the feedback about the tea. But yeah, I do, sometimes we do get criticism. M says, I love your hairy voice. Thank you. So I know a lot of people love it. And then some people are like, oh my God, what is that? And I have my Barbies, y'all. So I know some people like the Barbies and some didn't. And I understand they were not filmed great. But y'all have to understand, I was filming on a lunch break. I have to write up the script, hold the Barbies, get the hand out of the way, edit it. It's not so easy. But you guys, I have ordered some new Barbie clothes. I've got some Barbie stands. So there might be a collection of Barbies that I might turn into some shorts and TikToks in the future. Because we got to expand the Harry and Meghan Barbie verse because no one else is doing it, right? So again, it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but hopefully we can improve it and make it more interesting. She says, just be yourself. Unlike a Meghan, you are authentic. Oh, thank you, Carol. Mixed Girl says, you're the best hairy voice. Why, thank you. And the Barbie shorts. So I like to talk to y'all and get feedback because I feel like this is our channel and we're growing it together. It's going to take a village. Carol says, yeah, everyone is a critic. Believe me, I've gotten so much feedback. 90% of the time, it's really positive. But then, of course, you're going to have that person who gives you feedback. And sometimes it is warranted. And I do appreciate your feedback. So don't be afraid to tell me something like, Michelle, the sound was terrible. You're too loud. You're too soft. I didn't like this. Maybe you can improve that. I'm always up for suggestions. Because again, I want to make sure that the viewing process for me for you is enjoyable. So, and I am really working hard to grow my channel. So with that being said, okay. So I am on a mission, guys, to get to 50,000 subscribers because I have been doing this for 4 years. And I just feel like the Tiny Tim of YouTube. All of my friends have 70K, 100K, and they deserve it. They've worked really, really hard for it. But I would really, really like to get to that point. So we're about almost at 43,000. So again, I'm going to encourage you because I have a lot of people who watch my channel who do not subscribe. I don't know why. So if you are one of those people, if you know people, if you could help me out, we're working toward a 50K goal. That's my goal. So it's going to take a village, y'all. I need some help. So again, I appreciate everyone who always tunes in to me. You guys are so sweet and supportive, and I do have the best subscribers. I really do. You guys are so sweet and supportive. So I just want to have a little bit of conversation with y'all, a little bit of feedback. Oh, someone says, I can definitely tell you're from East Texas. I'm Cajun, and I get all your sayings. Actually, I'm not. I'm from Central Texas. I'm from the Austin area. But the funny thing is that, yeah, a lot of the Southern sayings, I think they're just universal. We pick up what people say, but you're Cajun. I bet you have some really cool sayings. So, but no, I'm definitely Central Texas, Austin, Fort Hood area for sure. Jackie says, I remember when you wanted 18,000. You will grow, sweetie. Yeah, it's funny to think about that, right? How far we come, and again, the fact that I have more than one subscriber is always shocking to me. I never meant to be a content creator. It was an accident. Sunflower says, I switched to my alter ego. I could subscribe on his channel too. Thank you. I do appreciate that. That's very sweet. So let's get into some royal news here. If I can get my thing to work, we'll see what happens. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So let's start with this story. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you guys see that? I think I'm sharing the story about Paul Burrell. So Paul Burrell, guys, is writing a story, a book on Princess Diana. Ugh, this guy. I don't know what it is about this guy. I just find him to be very, very, very snaky, in my opinion. This is a man who has been dining out on Princess Diana for a very, very long time. And I don't think I'm sharing the right one with you guys. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I'm not good at this here. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to share this screen. So what do you guys think about Paul Burrell writing another book? I don't know if he's written another book before, but I just feel like this guy is always dining out on Diana. This is a man who hasn't worked for her in, 30 years? It says a former royal butler who ended up becoming good friends with Princess Diana confirmed last week that he was set to release a new royal memoir. Paul Burrell, 66, will release the deeply personal and intimate memoir titled The Royal Insider in September. The book will reveal untold stories of his life working for the royal family and will be published in September. This will include an insight into his friendship with Princess Diana before her death in 1997, as well as stories involving Prince William and Prince Harry, whom he watched grow up. While the soon-to-be-published memoir is likely to stir up some unease among the royals, the ex-butler has made a comment on social media that is very telling. Hey, we have to scroll down. Burrell replied to the comment with a very telling 5-word statement. He wrote, "It's all very positive." Interesting. The book is believed to have resulted in the royals no longer trusting Burrell, who had worked for Queen Elizabeth II, the now King Charles, and the late Princess Diana. Now, this comment may come as a surprise for some, as Burrell's first book, A Royal Duty, published in 2003, did not go down well with the royal family. I don't know. I just feel like this man has been dining out on the memory of Princess Diana for a very, very long time. So, as reported by The Guardian, let's see. I think I missed something here. In 2003, Clarence House also issued a statement from Diana's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, after snippets of the memoir were made public. In a statement, they pleaded for the butler to not publish the book. As reported by The Guardian, it read, quote, "We cannot believe that Paul, who was entrusted with so much, could abuse his position in such a cold and overt betrayal. It was not only deeply painful for the two of us, but also for everyone else affected. It would mortify our mother if she were alive today. If we might say so, we feel we are more able to speak for our mother than Paul. We ask Paul, please bring these revelations to an end. Absolutely. So, what do y'all think about Mr. Burrell over here selling out Diana once again? I think he's a lech. Nika says he should actually get along well with Harry. They both do the same thing. Well, of course, Harry won't like him because Harry thinks he's the only person who should be able to dine out on the memory of his mother. If y'all remember, he went after John Travolta, accusing him of dining out on the memory of his mother, because he danced with her 25 years ago, which was absolutely ridiculous because John Travolta is a very well-known actor, very successful. He has never once even mentioned, as far as I know, the dance he had with Diana in over 20 years. And I just feel like Paul Burrell and her brother, Charles Spencer, kind of dines out a little bit, in my opinion, on Diana's memory. And so Harold, he definitely doesn't like to share that. The victimhood, the monetization of his mother's memory is all him. Him and Meghan are the only two who can make money off of Diana. So I do find that interesting that he's selling a book. Gizer says, I won't believe what Paul says, and Diana can't confirm or speak. Many people are saying that they really weren't as close as he is betraying himself to be. And I believe he sold personal letters, like he went to her house right after she passed away. And didn't he steal some items from her house? I believe they were private letters that he didn't have a right to take. And she did leave him $100,000 in her will. And back in 97? That was a lot of money back then. That was like 300,000 now. But, she did leave him a nice little, inheritance. But what did he do in return? He's written book after book, interview after interview, dining out on being Diana's butler. That is his whole career. I don't know. I just think he's a little disgusting. Carol says John Travolta was professional. It was fun memory. Yes, I remember when he did the dance. Absolutely. That's right. Forget about William, Diana's sisters, and family. Harry thinks he's the only one that remembers her. What a wuss. Yeah. Nika says, what bothers me most is when he gives interviews pretending to know what William or Harry are thinking. He has absolutely no idea what is going on. Do y'all remember there was a show? I think we talked about it last year, maybe 2 years ago. It's a show in the UK where they go to celebrities' houses that are haunted. And y'all remember that? I believe it was Paul Burrell's house. He believed that Diana was haunting his house. Like, I'm not even joking. Believe that Princess Diana would haunt him. Of all the people that she's going to, go visit, the butler, really? And he felt like her presence was there because I believe that he had a book or something from Diana. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm like, give me a break, sir. She's not haunting you. Again, that guy will do anything to get on TV or get on an interview or sell a book. It is absolutely ridiculous what this man does. Yeah, Shine 101 says, I don't think Prince William is too thrilled with him. Yeah, I feel so bad for Prince William. He has so many people who are constantly dining out on the memory of his mother. Always out for a buck. Even his own brother, which is disgusting. Nora says Harry didn't really know his mother. He was so young. Now he thinks that he is a saint, and Meghan Markle is taking advantage of an opportunity. Absolutely. Lizzie says the butler taking private letter is concerning. I would have reported him for mail theft. I believe he did kind of get in trouble. There was some kind of investigation, I believe, that happened, and then he was cleared, but he kind of got himself in a little bit of trouble there. And I think the Queen just kind of let it go. But I do remember, I believe he got into a little bit of trouble there. And I can't exactly remember everything that he did, but I do remember um, that he definitely, yeah, he definitely got in trouble. So let's do another story for you guys. Now, this I find hysterical. Do you guys remember when Prince Harry first started dating Meghan Markle? He thought that Meghan Markle, reminded him a lot of his mother, right? And he was convinced that when he would introduce Meghan Markle to the Spencer side of the family, that they were going to believe that she was, Princess Diana incarnate, right? And then he was very, very dismayed and very, very upset when they didn't realize that Meghan Markle was, Princess Diana. They didn't see any similarities in Princess Diana at all. So this article came out. It was a passage from Tom Bower's book, Revenge, where it says Prince Harry upset after Diana's sisters say Meghan had nothing in common with her. Now remember, Meghan has convinced Harry that she is the reincarnate of his mom, right? Again, what sick person does that? What sick person says that your mother talks to me? That I get visions from her when I do yoga, right? That she's communing with your dead mom. And he was convinced that she was so much like Diana. Of course, she showed up in Diana's perfume, wears her clothes, does her mannerisms. She studied him. Um, and the Spencer family was like, absolutely not. She's nothing like Princess Diana. There's nothing in common, there's nothing similar. And they even went a step further and told Harry, we kind of don't think she's going to make it in royal life. And according to this article, even Charles Spencer had talked to Harry about, before they get married, maybe kind of think this through. It wasn't just William who was telling him to slow his roll, right? It was also the Spencer family. Because again, who is this grifter? Who is this woman who comes in and is convinced their nephew that she is his dead mom? I think if I was his aunt, I would be very concerned about this woman who communes with my dead sister. Now, I wonder, has Meghan shared any of her psychic abilities with the rest of the royal family? Because I think they might have something to say about that. Again, I've always wanted to be a fly on the wall when Harry first met Meghan, and he would go to his friends and say, she's my mom. She's like my mom. I would just love to have seen their faces. The shock, the concern that they had of this man who thinks that the woman he's sleeping with is his mom. Like, ew. But he couldn't get over the fact that the Spencers were not on board with Meghan Markle being the incarnate of his mother. Now, there was one point in this article that they talk about how Harry was so ready to leave the royal family that he wanted to change his last name to Spencer. Let me go to Wes, right? I don't know. I just thought that was really funny, and I wanted to share that with you guys because I do think it's pretty gross. That's right. Miss Terry says, so he's sleeping with his mother. Absolutely. Again, in the book Spare, he really did not help himself. This man did not help himself. As a matter of fact, he made himself look worse, in my opinion, when he would tell people how Meghan Markle went to the grave with him, saw his mother. He took her to Diana's grave and she had a moment alone with Diana. And she put her hand on the stone and she was praying to Diana. And then she told him how Diana spoke to her, right? But the part that I couldn't get over was how they talked about when they were trying to get pregnant with little Archie, how they had a locket of her hair next to their bed. And they would literally like refer to the hair like it was a good luck charm. Ew. And how Meghan Markle sang to Seals. It was magical. Again, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when he was sharing these stories with people. I wonder if her aunts, if his aunts and uncles and friends knew of Meghan's psychic ability. And the thing I find hilarious is the fact that the Sussex squad never talks about Meghan Markle's claims of being a medium and being able to channel his dead mom. They literally gloss over that. They act like that didn't happen. And it's happened on several occasions. He's actually said in his book that Meghan talks to his mother, that he thinks Meghan is his mother. They made love next to locket of her dead hair, dead woman's hair. Ew. But the Sussex squad's like, la, 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 that didn't happen. We don't know what you're talking about. Here's another AI image of Diana hugging Meghan. It's like, you do know she tells people she's a psychic, right? That she's a medium. But nobody talks about it. They glance over that, which I find hysterical. So I remember Kinsey Schofield, I believe it was during the Platinum Jubilee when Harry and Meghan actually went, that somebody had heard when Harry and Meghan were, I guess on the balcony backstage, that Meghan had told Harry that she had channeled his mother that day in a yoga session, and she was happy they were there or something like that. Like, again, that's creepy. Who does that? But everyone just kind of forgets that about Meghan, right? How come she never talks about that in interviews, how she communes with his dead mother? I just find that hilarious. Yes, Elsie says they are both certifiably crazy. Absolutely. Sunflower says, Michelle, in my opinion, once word gets out that you will produce a show every Sunday at a scheduled time, your numbers will increase. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm not very good at doing lives. I get very shy. And with my schedule has been wacky and everything with my dad. So I'm going to try to schedule them every Sunday. So hopefully people will come and watch. I know I don't have huge numbers on lives, and that's okay because I'm practicing. So yes, but hopefully we'll get some higher numbers next time. Ms. Terry says it's complete brainwashing and he believes her. It proves he has a big problem. With all of the therapy he had, he hasn't improved. Yeah, with all of those weird medical practices and marijuana and mushrooms. Yeah. It is said that I believe it was in his book Spare also, again, he talked about when he went for Prince Philip's funeral back in, I think, 2021, just like a month after the Oprah Winfrey interview, that William and his father, they kind of trapped him and tried to talk to him, and he wasn't about it. He was not about it. And they were like, look, dude, we were concerned. We don't know who these medicine people, these therapists, these people you have around you, but something ain't right here. We're concerned. You're acting crazy. You're telling people that your wife's your dead mom. You're taking some wacky tobacco and mushrooms, and you're being very spiteful. You're lashing out on Oprah. What the hell is wrong with you? We need to get you in some help. And he didn't want it. So they were very concerned about the people that he has around him. And we don't know if Meghan introduced him to these people or what happened where he got these weird repressed memories. Do y'all remember those memories that the family's like, that didn't happen? So was he coerced into this weird therapy? We don't know. But he's definitely changed a lot. MW says she kept a lock of Diana's hair near her pregnancy. Oh, that's right. Pregnancy test. That's weird too. Yeah. Now, y'all know that if Catherine or William would have done any of that, it would have been all over the place. They would have ran with that. Oh my God, they would have ran with that. But everyone just keeps quiet. No one says anything. It's like, that's so wacky to me. Sunflower says, oh, is not very reliable. Yes, yes, that's right. YouTube has kind of suppressed my channel quite a bit, and if I don't post for a couple of days, that really tanks the channel, and that's my fault. But I am trying to post more regularly and do lives more regularly. So let me know if y'all like Sunday afternoons. Maybe I'll do a poll, but Sunday afternoons would work for me. But again, I'm really grateful that y'all stepped up and showed up today. Carol says, cohesive control. Unfortunately, it is a woman doing it to a man. Yeah, absolutely. It is just very, very strange indeed. Thank you, Ivy. I appreciate that very, very much. Let's see here. If we have anything. I had some other stories I'm trying to go over. I am working on quite a few videos for you guys. So there are going to be quite a few videos coming out this week that I hope that you guys will be interested in. And of course, I know I've said this several times, I am working on videos for my other channel because I do miss reporting on the other royals. For me, everything is really about timing. I had some issues with my father. He was ill and passed away. And then before that, I had an eye condition and I work a full-time job. So those are things, unfortunately, that do affect my channel. But I really hope between now and the end of the year that we can really push out more content, be more regular, do more lives, and also build up my other channel where I can actually talk about other royals and do more royal series. I know a lot of you have seen my other channel. I believe that Carol and Lizzie have it linked here in the chat. The Royal Daily Tea History and Fashion. Here it is. On that channel, I do have a series, Karina and the King, which was about the affair with King Juan Carlos of Spain and his mistress, where she got paid 65 million euros and it was able to keep it. That was a very fascinating story, and she's actually suing him for harassment and has accused him of wanting to unalive her like Princess Diana, like in a way like Princess Diana. It's a very fascinating story. So if you haven't checked it out, I think it's a 4 or 5 part series, but I do plan to do more series like that. And I have a couple in mind that I am working on for you guys. And that is my goal, is to start expanding the content. So if you get Harry and Meghan fatigue, you can run over to my other channel and you can learn other royal history, fashion, and I do have quite a few stories that will be coming out. So if you guys have any suggestions for other royals, royal stories, royal fashion, tiaras, anything, please feel free to email me, royaldailytea@gmail.com, because I'm always learning from you guys, and there's only so much I can learn in a day. One of my best friends, she's amazing. She always sends me these old women in history. She's like, oh my God, that'd be so great for your other channel. And I'm like, yeah, but then I have to sit down and research, get images and put it together. But if you guys have any interesting stories, even women in history, I wanted to do one on the dollar duchesses, the women from America. I think that's what they were called, who married men with titles, broke men with titles, kind of like a Downton Abbey. And Winston Churchill's mother, I believe, she was also one of those women. who was an American with money who married an aristocrat. So I wanted to do a series on that because I found that so fascinating. But if you have any women in history, old movie stars might be another one. I want to do one called Hollywood Royalty. I'm actually thinking about doing one on Rita Hayworth, the first American actress to actually marry royalty. So there's quite a few ideas that I have swirling around. It's just me sitting down and doing it. That's the problem. But if you guys are interested, let me know in the chat if you'd be interested in those types of videos, and I'll be putting them on my second channel. And I'm really working to grow that one as well. So let me know what you guys think about that. Sunflower says, Dollar Duchess says, great idea. I love the stories. American Royals, another great idea. Absolutely. And you guys, I'm working on a video right now for my second channel. Let's see, about Sarah Ferguson's, I think it was her ex-fashion dresser who basically unalived her boyfriend and went to prison, and she's free now. Yeah, so I'm working on that one. So let me know what y'all think about that. Oh no, Andrea, phone gonna run out of juice. Sorry. Come back next time. But let me know, guys. Feel free to email me. Okay. Dizvan says, Michelle, did you see where Harry might take the Spencer name and getting rid of the Mountbatten Windsor? I get really confused on what Charles Spencer's stance is on the whole situation. Yeah, I mentioned that he wanted to get rid of his royal name and he wanted to go to Spencer. And it's like, you're not a Spencer. Your mom was. I mean, it's just weird. It kind of reminds me, I guess this is going to sound bad, but it kind of reminds me of David Beckham's son when he married his wife, and apparently it's Nicola and not Nicola. I think it's Nicola Peltz. He took her last name, guys, when he got married. So I think he changed it to Brooklyn Beckham and then like dash Peltz. He took his wife's last name. Okay, so maybe some people think that's cool, whatever. But I don't know. I find that strange when a man takes a woman's name for me. So the fact that Harry would want to revert to a Spencer is odd. So maybe that's why Meghan is Meghan Sussex now, because she wants to go by Sussex instead of Mountbatten Windsor. So that could be a motivation also, right? Because Harry is trying to distance himself from the royal family in a way. So maybe they're trying to start the Sussex clan of royals here in America. So they go by Sussex, the House of Sussex, Sussex Royal. So that could very well be why they're pushing that so hard, because he's not going to be able to become a Spencer because that's technically not his last name. And they don't want to be Mountbatten Windsors. So I think that could be a reason for the Sussex name change. Let me know what y'all think about that. But either way, he's just a wuss. So it doesn't really matter what his name is at this point. Sunflower says, there is no shortage of royal scandals. Going back the full 1,000, Harry and Meghan have competition. Absolutely. And here's the thing. What I love about Harry and the royal spare and William is that is a dynamic that is played out through many royal houses for years. There used to be a show, I think it was on Netflix, called Versailles. And I believe that was King Louis the 15th or 16th, the one who did Versailles. And the dynamic relationship between him and his brother is identical almost to William and Harry. There's always the heir and the spare. It's always been a very contemptuous dynamic. And so it's kind of just history repeating itself, kind of like Charles and Prince Andrew. I mean, I don't know if they've ever been actually close. But of course, they're not super close right now. That's another story. But I always felt like there's always a problem with the heir and the spare. Even in Denmark, with King Frederick and his brother Joachim, again, there was some problems there because when Queen Marguerite decided, in Europe, the royals are small. Denmark's a very small country. Sweden, Norway, they're very small compared to the UK, right? The UK has the Commonwealth, and then they have Ireland, they have Great Britain, they have Scotland, they have Wales, and then they have the 50 plus Commonwealth countries. So the royals there have to go to a lot of places versus, the king and queen of Denmark just have Denmark, right? So the royals have also really cut down their monarchies to just the main people. So when Queen Marguerite decided that Joachim's children no longer needed to be a prince and princess, instead I believe she made them count and countess. They're still royals, but they weren't their royal highnesses anymore. And she kind of moved them down. He was very upset. Him and his wife Marie threw a fit. And they actually held quite a few press conferences, kind of bad mouthing his mother, which wasn't a good look. It was a very Harry and Meghan type of move. But eventually they were warned ahead of time that the titles would be removed. Their kids were fashion models. They were living in other countries. They weren't even in Denmark. Again, they don't need to have a prince and princess title. They're not the heirs to the throne. They were like fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, something like that. And they weren't needed because there really wasn't a lot of royal duties to go around, right? For Denmark. They had it handled with Queen Marguerite, Frederick, and Mary. They had it handled. So they threw a fit. Joachim, I believe, moved to, I think it was the States, Washington, where he's working as an ambassador, I believe, for an embassy. I could be wrong. But they eventually conceded. And now his wife, Marie, and himself will occasionally come back to Denmark, and they'll do royal duties for King Frederick, which I think is a really good sign. They were able to put aside their differences, but they did throw a royal fit when their kids were downgraded. But they were told years before this was going to happen, which is the weird thing. They knew this was going to happen, but they were ultimately able to work it out, which I love. Harry and Meghan, unfortunately, that door is shut. You're not coming back under any circumstance. But yeah, Denmark kind of had their own little scandal. And then, of course, I believe it's, is it Sweden? What's her name? The one who thinks she's a psychic. I'm sorry, guys. My brain isn't working. And her husband who just had that wedding. Oh, they're another nightmare. We can talk about them, y'all, in another live, okay, when I'm more prepared. But there's so much stuff, guys, that's happening with the royals. Denmark is not like the British Commonwealth. It's smaller, and King Frederick has a big family. I agree. Yes, absolutely. Oh, also Sweden probably has the best reaction. Oh, now I forgot. Is it Norway who has the scandal with the son, the stepson, with Princess Marit? Oh gosh, is that Sweden, y'all? I don't remember. Is that Norway, where her son got in trouble for domestic assault? That's another one, guys. Woo! Yes, absolutely. Oh yes, I actually love this. So Madeline of Sweden, I do like her as well. And again, in Sweden, they don't have a need for the two spares, the sister Princess Madeline and her brother, to do royal duties. It's Princess Victoria and her parents who do all of the royal duties. So her sister, Princess Madeline of Sweden, is launching, I believe, a skincare line, a beauty line, but she's not going to be using her royal title for her business, but she has permission from the palace to do so. So there's a huge difference. One, she's not disparaging her family or her country. Two, she's not monetizing a royal title, 3, she's not a working royal. And 4, she has express permission from the king, her father. Huge difference. And again, in Sweden, they're a very small country. There's not a use for them, really, but she can kind of do the half in and half out, like for big state events, which I think is the proper way to do it. So I believe Harry and Meghan probably wanted to do it that way, but because the UK monarchy is a lot more traditional and a lot more strict and has a lot more work involved, I believe the Queen didn't want them to be half in and half out for that reason. But again, Harry and Meghan couldn't quite understand it. Now, perhaps things could have been different if they would have played their cards different. But again, Meghan went into that never really wanting to learn the role, never wanting to be a royal duchess. She just kind of wanted to go in there for the money, right? For the fame. Princess Madeline launched a natural skincare line called Minlin in collaboration with Wilda. Absolutely. Miss Terry says, and that's it, Martha Louise, who married a bisexual shaman who was weird and opportunist. Yeah, I was actually going to do a whole series on them because they are so fascinating. The shaman and the princess, they used to run seminars where she talks to dead people, and he believes he's a shaman who could cure people with a medallion, right? And their whole wedding, y'all, that was so weird. But I wanted to do a series on them, so maybe I'll do a vote and see what you guys would be interested in me doing a series on. But I always thought, because they live in the States, I believe, that Harry and Meghan and them would be best friends because they have so much in common. They are royals, kind of outcasted from their families. They're interracial couples, opposite, black and white. They're both out for money. And they both have these hippy-dippy beliefs, with Harry believing that his wife is his mom and Meghan channeling Princess Diana. You would have thought they would open up a commune on an island somewhere with the shaman and the princess who talks to the dead. I mean, can y'all imagine them being besties? Oh my God. I'm waiting for it. So I kind of think this is my prediction. I think in the next 2 to 3 years, when everything goes to hell in a handbasket for Harry and Meghan and they lose everything, they're going to open up some hippy dippy commune. I'm telling y'all, that is the next thing. Think about this wellness stuff, and all of her friends on her podcast are talking about joy, my joy, and the power of yet. She has all those weird manifestations. Again, nothing against manifestations, but I honestly can see her becoming like a cult leader on some island for the uber rich, the Oprah Winfreys, the Gayle Kings, going to this little retreat with Harry and their wacky tobacco and their communing with the dead, and the shaman and the princess. Can't you see the four of them on some island somewhere after they've lost everything and people are like, seriously, go away. We want nothing from you. That might be the final step, y'all. But I'm surprised they have not met up yet. They're so similar. I tune the news. I'm so confused. What are you confused about? Sunflower says, at least Prince Edward used the name Edward Windsor in his private ventures. It still caused problems. It did. Edward has always been a very frustrated actor. Back in the day, I used to have a crush on Edward. I thought I was going to marry him because he's like 8 years older than me. And I thought, oh, I'm going to marry Prince Edward. He was very handsome. Sophie unfortunately stole him from me. That's okay. But I remember it was in the 80s, right, where he was trying to do that reality show, that jolting thing. It was really fun to see him and Fergie kind of doing these weird games on TV. He always wanted to be an actor, but unfortunately for him, because he was royal and he couldn't do it. It just people were really cruel to him and made fun of him and the show. I thought the show was fun, but I guess the critics really didn't like it. So Sunflower says Prince Andrew was the royal cutie of my generation. I thought the whole royal family as a whole was actually, they were all very good looking. They all looked like movie stars. Prince Philip was, oh my gosh, what a good looking man. Queen Elizabeth, a beautiful woman. And I thought all the kids were very good looking back in the day. Even King Charles was good looking. I still think he's very debonair, but he was good looking at some points. Not when he had that howdy doody haircut in the 60s. That was unfortunate. But when he wore his hair over his ears, he was very handsome. But Edward was always good looking, Andrew, good looking. And I've always felt that Princess Anne is beautiful, a beautiful woman, very stylish. All of them, and Queen and Princess Margaret, all of them were also just gorgeous. Carol says Prince William is my generation hottie. Oh yes, Carol, I like Prince William too. I think all of us love Prince William. He has that king energy, doesn't he? He just I just have this feeling, guys, he's going to be king real soon. I hate to say that, but I just feel like he's ready. He's just right on the cusp of becoming king, and the world notices him too. I really do. He is such a good-looking man for sure. And with Catherine, yeah. Oh, okay. So Miss Terry says that she talks to angels, not dead people. Okay. Maybe I was wrong about that. Sorry. Martha Louise talks to angels. Okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that do that. Hi, Gilly. Gilly says, "Glad I caught a live here." Yes, we are hoping to do this on Sundays, so hopefully we can get a little bit of a crowd here. I'm new at this. Maple Syrup says Harry couldn't hurt his father more than wanting to change his last name. Absolutely. I mean, Charles is not perfect. He's not. But my gosh, the cruelty that this man is receiving in his later years, battling cancer after losing his mother. He has a very hard and demanding job he's waited his entire life to get. He also has to deal with an ungrateful brat of a son. Like, can you just imagine? Right? Can you give this man a break? It just really breaks my heart. He has to deal with this man. Nika says, I hope not. I wish him plenty of private time with his children. Yes, absolutely. And, a lot of people are criticizing William and Catherine, calling them the work shy whales. And there's a reason for that. They are focusing on their family because it's important for them to raise their 3 children and prepare them for what's ahead. And their children are not going to get that childhood back. Because once William becomes king and Catherine becomes queen, their lives are going to change forever. I mean, forever until they die. So George, Louis, and Charlotte are enjoying living a quiet life in Adelaide Cottage for as long as they possibly can. They don't have staff. They take family vacations together. And I think that is so important. And I think it's great how William and Catherine are raising their children in a way where they're breaking generational curses, again, between the heir and the spare. And what I like about William and Catherine is they have 3 children. So it's not just an heir and a spare the way that it was with Harry and Meghan, but they have 3 children. So Charlotte and Louis can kind of team up together. And then you're going to have the heir, George. But I think they're going to be such a support system for George, because when George becomes king, we don't have a lot of younger royals, and he's going to need both of them to help him. That is my opinion. And I also believe that William, when he does become king, he said he wants to be royal with a small r, not a large r. He is reducing a lot of the duties and the work stuff that they currently do because it's unsustainable. It is unsustainable to do 500 things a year. Like Princess Anne, she does 300 plus events a year, which is great, but that's just not sustainable when we get to a point where the younger generation comes in and there's less working royals. And I think what William and Catherine want to do for the monarchy is really, it's needed, it needs to be modernized, where they focus on bigger, more impactful projects and not 100 little projects that are like opening a flower shop or cutting a ribbon. Those are cute, but they can't do them the way that the queen had done them, Princess Anne does them. They're cutting them down to more important, impactful events, to where they won't need as many royals to do as many jobs, but they're going to do bigger, impactful things like the Princess Trust Foundation, Earthshot Prize, the homelessness project, Catherine's work with early years. So I think we're going to start seeing the royals stepping up in their own projects, but they're not going to do as many of these little projects that the current royals are doing because it's just not going to be sustainable. And I think William wants to focus on making huge differences, instead of just doing some of the little things that the royals have done in the past. So I think that's going to be a good move for the future. But I love the fact that William and Catherine are focusing on their kids, and people criticize them. But remember, Catherine's still battling cancer, and she just came back to work a couple months ago, and their kids have summer breaks. So I think people are being a little unkind to her and William. But I have a feeling, guys, William is stepping up. He is ready, and he has king energy, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, I don't want this to happen anytime soon, but in my heart, I feel like he is really ready to step up, and take leadership. And it could happen in a couple of years, right? It could definitely happen. Lizzie says that's too many. They could revisit some engagements every 2 years. Exactly. Yeah, doing 300 plus engagements a year, I just don't think is doable for everybody. Okay, Gilly says Sundays are good. Awesome. Nikki says, above all, it is great disrespect to his grandfather who advocated for the devil name. Absolutely. I remember that for Philip. See, Philip was a man's man. He was an old fashioned man's man. And he wanted to have Mountbatten Windsor to be the name of his family because it was important to him. So the fact that Harry wants to get rid of that, it's a slap in the face to his grandfather. It really is, to the legacy. This man has no loyalty whatsoever, but wants everyone to be loyal to him. It is ridiculous, you guys. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, we're coming up here on an hour. I have one more story to share with you guys, and then we'll have to call it a day unless you'll have some questions or comments that you would like to leave me. I thought this was an interesting story. Okay. So this lady found this royal ring that she bought like at a flea market for 15 pounds. And it turns out that this ring is extremely valuable. It's dated over 200 years ago. And the ring was linked all the way back to, I believe, King George IV, who had this ring made in commemoration of his sister, Princess Amelia. Now, the fan bought the ring at a charity shop for 15 pounds, and they say that this ring is valued at over 5,000 pounds. But isn't that a beautiful ring? It's a 200-year-old royal ring. It's called a rare royal mourning ring that he made, like I said, in memory of his sister, Princess Amelia, after her death in 1810. So I just think it's fascinating that she found this wonderful find in a charity shop. You never know what treasures, guys, you guys are going to find if you go antiquing, if you go to charity shops. But isn't that the coolest thing? I personally would have kept it. If I found a royal treasure that's linked to a royal that has a meaning, I personally would keep it. But apparently she's putting it on the auction block. It could go up to 5,000 pounds. So if y'all are interested, you might want to check out the story. I believe the story was in Express, that she's going to put it up for sale. But I love royal history. I like finding out interesting things. But I wanted to share that with you guys. So go to your local charity shop, gift shop. You never know what hidden treasure you guys are going to find. Yes, I love the history as well. Yeah, I'm always fascinated about history. So, but anyways, I thought I would share that with you guys. So let me know if you guys have any questions or comments or topics that you would like to bring up quickly in the next couple of minutes. Please leave me a comment, guys, so we can get on that topic. Yeah, Nika says, I wouldn't give it away either. Absolutely. Absolutely. And guys, before we leave, can we please give a nice round of applause to my two moderators, Carol Marshalik, and of course, Lizzie B. These women are amazing. I can do a live last minute. They're always ready for it. They put all these beautiful links in the description. You guys, thank you so much for that. Lizzie just put a link for the article on the ring if you'd like to go check it out. It's a very fascinating ring. And Carol, you've been amazing. Today was her first day as a joint moderator with Lizzie. So please give her a round of applause. Both of these ladies are amazing. Thank you guys so, so much for doing that for me. I truly appreciate it. She does a great job every single time. She does. Both of them. Amazing. Thank you. Lucy says, thank you, Michelle and Carol, mod team. I do have a great RDT team. I have great RDT subscribers. I mean, I'm just so lucky. I truly, truly am lucky and blessed by each one of you guys. Every time you guys watch my videos, like my videos, enjoy my videos, it just really makes me happy to see the feedback that you like my hairy voice, that you like when I say British media, my mom, or daddy. Some of my catchphrases. It really tickles me when you guys get a kick out of my sense of humor, because when I make videos, I'm just talking to myself. So I love to hear the feedback from you guys. I found my people. And I love that. So let's see. Charlotte says, you are never annoying. I love your accent. My ears are Southern and I love your accent. Thank you. I don't think I have a huge accent. Sometimes I do overdo it for the videos, but I do appreciate that. My mom has a German accent and she says I sound like a Californian because I lived in California for 20 years and came back to Texas, but I definitely picked up more of my Southern drawl. That is for sure. That is for sure. Joy says, hope everyone is good. Dot D makes me smile. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's fun to say. And I like that people have told me that they start saying dot D or yes, thank is another one. And people say when I say, I'm a mom, they hear my voice when people say that. So, you guys, I am working on a really good video for you guys this afternoon. So I hope you guys will stay tuned. I'm going to try to get out to you early evening, but it's good, y'all. It's really, really good. Joy says, I agree. I really love Michelle's voice. Thank you, because I've had people before tell me that I sound like nails on a chalkboard. And I've had people say, when I first started, they're like, oh my God, is that her voice? And I've been accused of being AI. Yeah, there's just weird people. You know, some people like it, some people do not. Um, you know, this is the way it is. Charlotte Dean says, Michelle, you have your way, and HD Tutor is himself. You know what I mean. Exactly. I love HD Tutor. He is a very fascinating man. His voice is wonderful, and he's got a great sense of humor. He really is a nice guy. I definitely recommend you check out his channel, you guys. He does amazing work. Nika says you have a great voice. Why, thank you. You know, I've always hated my voice. I've always thought it was a little too high. Fun story. About 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I was working as a receptionist for this company, and this guy was kind of an a-hole. He would call in all the time. And I guess there was 3 operators at the time, and I was one of 3 people. And he didn't know that he got me back. I guess he thought I was someone else. He's apparently not very smart. And he's like, yeah, and that one girl who sounds like she's in the 5th grade. I'm like, oh, it must be me. That he was talking about, but he didn't know it was me. But thank you. Yes, HG does have a great voice. I actually just purchased quite a few items from his channel, and I'm listening right now to the Knowing HG series. It's fascinating because I like to learn about narcissism, because I never knew about narcissism until I started watching his channel, but I like to learn about him, his childhood, what made him him. And so I'm listening right now. There's, I think, 9 parts, and I think I'm on part 4. So I'm learning about HD Tutor, what made him HD Tutor. It's really fascinating. So if you guys have a chance, I recommend you guys go over and listen to that, because it's really interesting. Yes, when he says Tom Bauer. I like when he says Power. He says things really interesting. Yeah, he does have a fun way of saying that. Oh, Joy, thank you so much for the super sticker. You left me a couple of super stickers, so I do appreciate you. And every time y'all donate to me, it goes to Romeo's Fancy Feast Fund. Do y'all know my cat eats like 6 cans a day? At least 6. Um, Anyways, I need to get sponsored by Fancy Feast because my cat eats so much food, you guys. Every 3 hours, he's like an infant. He needs a new can of Fancy Feast. It's ridiculous. Gilly says, can't wait to see it. You sound great. Oh, thank you. Y'all are so sweet. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. So yeah, so make sure you guys go and check out HD Tutor, and also look out for a video that will be coming later today. So does anyone else have any other comments, concerns? Oh, thank you, Ivy. I'm glad you liked the live. Let me know, do you guys like this live format? Do you want me to have more stories prepared? Do you like when we chit chat? I was going to share some movie and book reviews with y'all, some Amazon finds. Maybe we can do that next week. I might do a poll, and you guys let me know if you like having more of a personal chat mixed in with the royals, or do you prefer just the royals? And I will try to be on camera next time, so it'll be a little bit more personal. You know, I got to work on that because I get shy. I get real shy. And it's hard to talk to people. You know, you can't see or hear them. Yes, so make sure y'all go check out HD Tutor. He's got some great stuff. So yeah, let me know your feedback, guys. Don't be shy. Flower says, this has been a great live. So glad you're getting time to spend with your friends. Well, you guys are my friends. You're my fam. You're my RDT fam. So, yeah, let me know how you liked this live. Was it good? Does it need improvement? Do you want more royal talk? You like the personal? Okay, book reviews would be nice. Okay, I have a lot of them, you guys. And I do have an Amazon storefront, and I have a lot of book reviews and products in there that you guys can always check out. But I definitely will encourage a little bit more. Oh, I'm late. Did you talk about Harry in China? Actually, we didn't, but we could definitely talk about that. I was going to do a video on that, call it Harry's Shanghai Surprise. um, let's see if I can remove this. You don't have to stare at that. Yeah, that's a whole interesting little topic there. But yeah, I don't know. Neil Sean kind of covered that, where he talked about where he showed up at that tech place lecturing other businesses about how to work on their blueprint and to be more ethical. But again, he flew 6,400 miles to give this speech. Now, the reason why he went there in person, he didn't just phone it in, he didn't just Zoom it in, was because he got paid. So apparently, when Harry does these speeches, you guys, he gets paid because everything with Harry and Meghan is about money, about moolah. They don't do anything for free out of the goodness of their heart, even if they are promoting a charity. He got paid for that appearance. So that is why he checked at 6,400 miles for his little Shanghai surprise. He's such a hypocrite. Does anyone even take him seriously? And nobody uses Travelist. Has anyone you known ever used Travelist for their travel plans? No, you're not going to go there. You don't care about emissions. You're trying to book a flight that's affordable, that's going to get you to your destination with the least amount of layovers, the least amount of changing flights, seat availability, right? That's what we care about. Emissions is probably the last thing that we care about. And most of us who do fly commercial, it actually has a lower footprint than a private jet, which Harry and Meghan only take, right? So again, why are you lecturing people? We don't see you flying commercial, which is a lot more ethical in regards to the environment. So, let's see. Carol says Dollar Duchesses, Assistant Committed Murder, Royal Romances of Europe, Court Princess Caroline. Yeah, there are so many topics, guys, that we can get into for my other channel. But yeah, we're just trying to, test this out here to see does offer discounts. I don't think they do. I really, I got to be honest with you, I don't go to the website. So I think it's all about emissions and ratings too. There's like this weird rating system. I'm going to research that, Lizzie, and we'll talk about it next time. Okay. So remind me, I'll do better research and we'll talk about that next time. I wasn't as prepared um, as I should have been. Let's see. Yes, I think Burl is a sleaze bag. Yeah, absolutely. Can you say grab a drink and get ready for some more royal tea? So do you want me so do you want me to say it the way I say it, or do you want me just to say um grab a drink and get ready for some royal tea? Like in my intro, you think I should change it? Yeah, because I think I do say it a little bit backwards. I tell people to have a seat and then grab a beverage. So maybe if I say grab a drink and get ready for some more royal tea, okay, we can work on that. Yeah, tone deaf much, absolutely, absolutely. Um, for my intro, okay, okay, I can work on that, sure. No, love your intro. We'll see what we can do, guys. We'll see what we can do. Um, you know, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Because sometimes I memorized it a certain way, and it's hard for me to say it another way sometimes. So, yeah. What is this start? Okay. All right, guys. Well, we've gone off for an hour and a half. Doesn't look like there's any more comments. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, or you can email me if you like this format. Maybe I'll do a poll on my page if you like the personal stuff along with the royal history. So that way it's more of a chit chat. And then surprise us, Michelle. Make us guess what the intro would be. I will try. I will try. Also, one of my subscribers suggested to me, because I am trying to grow my channel to 50K, and we're approaching almost 43K. I have a couple hundred, I think. That I wanted to get 50K by my dad's birthday, which is September 17th. And I know that's kind of a huge goal. Honestly, I don't know if I'll make it. But one of my followers has suggested that at the end of my videos, I always tell people, thank you for stopping by, like, share, and subscribe, that I should do it in the beginning after the intro. So you might see that in today's video. I'm going to have a little thing asking people to subscribe, like, share, help me get to 50K. She thought that was a good idea, that I need to have it up in the beginning, which I thought was different. So y'all might see that in today's video. So you'll have to let me know your feedback. Again, I'm trying to make it to where it's more enticing, but also getting people to subscribe. So we'll try that today and see if that works. So, all right, guys. Oh, tell your friends, share their live stream, share RDT videos. Yes, let's get me to 50K. So, anyways, okay, guys, y'all are very sweet. Don't want to take up more of your time, but I hope you enjoyed this live, and we will do it again next Sunday. And I'll have more royal topics. And again, throughout the week, maybe I'll ask you on the community page if you have something specific that you would like me to address, or maybe we'll do a Q&A. We'll add that into the live next week. And then that way you guys can be a little bit more participate a little bit more, and we can go from there. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.